All right. Welcome back into Ben Talks Utah Hockey. Coming at you with a game preview of the Vancouver Canucks versus Utah Hockey Club. Game is Wednesday, December 18th. The matchup's in Salt Lake City. Um, and it marks the first meeting of these two teams for the year. So, Vancouver Canucks, Utah Hockey Club. Canucks, they're 2-2-1 over the last 5 games, coming off a home loss to Boston with a score of 5-1. And as I'm recording this, they are playing the Colorado Avalanche tonight. So keep in mind that any of the stats that I say about the Canucks could be slightly different coming into the game on Wednesday versus Utah. So the Canucks, their team leader in points is Quinn Hughes. He's a defenseman, 25-year-old defenseman. He's got 7 goals, 27 assists for a total of 34 points. Really putting in the work as a playmaker, but he can still put the puck in the back of the net. He's one of the most skilled defensive players that I've seen, especially at his size. He's a little bit of a smaller guy, and when they drafted him, they said, yeah, he's undersized. We'll see how he works in the league, but he's proven that he belongs in the league. He also made the Four Nations roster for that tournament this upcoming February for Team USA, along with his brother Jack. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see the Four Nations Cup just in general, but it'll be cool to see some of those young US players. Anyway, let's get back to some of the other players for the Canucks. Their goal leader is Jake DeBrusk. He's got 14 goals, 9 assists for 23 points. And we'll see who they start in net. The goaltender Thatcher Demko, he's coming off of an injury, a knee injury, and so he's only played 2 games this year, and the most recent one being against the Boston Bruins in that 5-1 loss. So we'll see if he makes the start tonight or not. Not tonight, Wednesday night. We'll see if he makes the start or not, but just one thing to keep an eye on, and I'll kind of talk about that a little bit later on in some of my keys to the game. Just kind of what coming off that injury means for him. With Utah's recent streak of confidence, they're 4-0-1 in the last 5. So we'll see if they can maintain that coming into the matchup versus the Canucks. They're 4-5-3 at home this season. That's 4 wins, 5 losses, 3 overtime losses. So Utah's been playing in a bunch of overtime games this year. So I'm hoping to see one of these one goal games go their way. As of late, they have been. If they've needed to kick it into that extra gear and hold the team off, close them out, they've been able to do that. But that's been on the road. So we'll see what they do at home. In these next 3 out of 4 games. We'll see if they can maintain their confidence they've built on the road and bring it back home to Salt Lake. And let's see. Sorry, looking at my notes here. Yeah, so we'll just get into some players to watch for Utah. Couple quick hits here. Nick Schmaltz. He's got 5 goals, 19 assists for 24 points. Look for the goals to keep coming from him. He went scoreless in his first 20 or so games. I think it was 20 or 22 games. And he's finally been putting the puck in the net. He's getting to touch the twine. And when it starts raining, it usually pours, at least for a little while. At least that's what I say living down here in Florida. When it rains, it's going to pour. And even if it's just for 15, 20 minutes, hopefully, that being said, hopefully Nick Schmaltz can see a little bit of a more than a shower with his goal production. He is getting it done in the assist column, but player of his caliber, you'd like to see a few more goals. So hopefully they keep coming for Nick. We really need that from him. He's a big player on that top line. Another player that's on that first line on the defensive side, though, is Mikhail Sergachev. He's logging the most minutes on the team this year per game. He's at, I think, 25 and a half. Yeah, he's at 25 and a half minutes averaged per game. And he's stepped into that top D role for Utah, coming in off his recent contract extension that he signed with Tampa Bay. He's on that Utah ended up taking over. So he's on the second year of an 8-year deal. So looking to keep him in Utah for a while, and I think that's huge. He's been a top tier defenseman. He leads the team in defensemen with points. He's got 22, 7 goals, 15 assists, and he's shown a little bit more life to me as of late. He's taking more shot attempts and trying to be a bigger offensive presence for Utah. I think on the power play too, he's been moving the puck pretty well on the power play. So look for him to try to keep the momentum going and being that driving force on the defense for Utah. But yeah, that's Mikhail. Next player I've got here on my list, one to watch, would be our goaltender, Karel Vejmelka. He looked a little rough against the Sharks, maybe not as sharp around the edges, so to speak. Going 19 of 22 on shot attempts in the previous game. He let in 3. Not a high shot count in the last game versus the Sharks, but he did make some timely saves. So he comes into this game with a .915 save percentage and a 2.40 goals against average. He's got a 6-7-2 record, but like I've said it before, his record doesn't reflect the way that he's been playing of late. Usually he keeps it to a 1 to 2 goal per night type of average. So with that 2.40, so we'll see. I think with him, if he can get off to a hot start and see a lot of shots, I think he's better that night. Like if he can get into that rhythm early and get a couple of nice quick saves, I noticed that he can tend to take a nap if he doesn't get that. Just kind of like we saw versus the Sharks. Still, he played a good game, but I just noticed that he's an athletic guy and he wants to get that body going, wants to get the legs moving, and make a bunch of saves. So look for that this game. Look for him to get a couple of good saves early, and I feel like that'll kind of like judge. It'll be your guide on how the night's gonna go. And so like Vancouver, they've been putting up about 3 goals a game, a little over 3 goals a game, like 3.1, 3.2 goals a game. They're below the league average in attempted shots, but they do have guys that can put the puck in the net and they play with speed. So look for them to try to get Veggie off balance and moving cross crease and getting out of position, especially on the power play. Look for Vancouver to try to move him side to side because he is a big goaltender, but when he moves side to side, sometimes he can get out of position quickly. So just look for them to exploit Karel that way. And now finally, really quick, we're going to get into my keys of the game. I've got 5. Key number 1, and I think I'm slowly going to be moving out of thinking this every game for our guys, but if the game against San Jose proved anything, even with some saying like the refs missing calls, some Sharks fans weren't happy about that. I've read all about it on Twitter, and Sharks fans were not happy with all the missed calls that they thought they should have had. But I thought, hey, San Jose takes 8, Utah takes 5 or 6, and yeah, both teams were penalized a lot. So my first key to the game is stay out of the box. Don't give Vancouver any opportunities or minimal opportunities on the power play, because nothing good happens when you're down a man for minutes and minutes of the game, half a period or even a full period of the game. Like you just don't want to be a man down. So that's key number one. Key number two is capitalize on the power play and when you get those chances, and then drawing penalties with the speed and the skill of your forwards. I think Utah has a lot of skilled forwards, a lot of quick guys. If they can make those, if they can just get into areas and draw penalties when necessary, that can help build momentum. Build the offensive pressure in the zone on the power play. I just think we need to be drawing more penalties. So that's one thing, just something I've noticed over the last few games. Next key to the game would be quick breakouts from the D zone, neutral zone, and offensive zone entries. So are they going to keep playing chip and chase, which works fine if you forecheck well and you forecheck hard and fast. So that's my third key, is getting pucks from the neutral zone into the offensive zone quickly and efficiently, not spending a lot of time in the defensive zone trying to get pucks out. When players are changing, that's one thing, getting a good look. But once players get changed, move the puck up with pace, purpose, and get it deep into their zone. So that's number three. Number four, shots on Demko. Getting him moving. I said I was going to speak to this earlier on in the podcast. Getting Thatcher Demko, if he does play, getting him moving cross crease, just like Vejmelka, but with that knee injury he's coming back from, getting him moving side to side and low, like taking low shots with rebounds and trying to create a little bit of chaos in front of the net. I think that'll help us score. I mean, goalies are on their knees half the time, like they're in the butterfly, they're sliding around. They got to hop back up, get back down, hop back up, get back down into that butterfly. So, and if you're coming off a knee injury, I've got bad knees. I never played goalie, but I just can't imagine coming off of a surgery and then having to trust a knee in a high pressure situation, in a high intensity and speed type situation. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So key number four, get Thatcher Demko moving side to side. Look for cross crease passes, which Utah does a lot of, saucer passes across from the low corner. So we'll see what happens with that, but that's one of my keys. Get Thatcher Demko moving. And then my last one will be fourth line production. So getting the production that we've seen of late from the fourth line has been huge. I feel like guys on that line, they're not getting, talking about Stenlund, Kerfoot, and Carcone, and they don't get the most minutes. They average about 10 minutes a night. Stenlund maybe a little bit more because he's on penalty kills, and he takes face-offs when they need him to. But just getting point production from them on a nightly basis, I feel like they're that kind of line that Andre Tourney can put out there when he needs a spark, when he needs a little bit of production. I've said it before in previous episodes, but just creating a face-off in the offensive zone, getting a shot on net, crashing the net, and putting pressure on the opposing team to get face-offs deep into that zone. So again, last key to the game, getting production from that fourth line. I think that's going to be important. But yeah, I think that's probably going to wrap it up here. Ben Talks Utah Hockey. You can catch me mostly anywhere podcasts are found. The main ones being YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Those are probably the best ones just to go to. They update the quickest. But yeah, Ben Talks Utah Hockey. Find me on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. My handle is Ben Talks Utah HC. And I'd really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff, and interact with me a little bit. I want to know who you are out there listening. Give me a little feedback. All criticisms welcomed. I know I'm still fairly new at this, but yeah, hit me up. Email is bentalksutahhockey@gmail.com. You can email questions in. I'll answer questions. However you want to do it. However you want to contact me. There's multiple channels. If you comment on something, I'm going to see it. So get in touch. Let me know what you're thinking. I'll keep trying to continue to get better at these and keep putting in the work. I'm sitting here. I'm like, it's 11 o'clock. I got some time. I'm going to take some notes and do my prep. And then I'm just like, okay, I got to record this episode. So, yeah, I'm going to keep pushing content out here for you. I'm going to keep trying to do a couple episodes a week if time permits and life doesn't get crazy, but keep looking for it. And I do appreciate you listening. If you made it this far, Ben Talks Utah Hockey. We'll see you on the next one.